Where is my money? Tell me where. You wanna chit chat, but I don't care. Can't be playing with my cash, no way. This disrespect can't be the play. Why you playing games with my cash? Owe me big, but you're acting rash. Said you pay me back today. Hey, now you're silent like it's all okay. Cash rules everything around me. Everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises, don't sue. No dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot. See you styling in your new threads. Spending freely while my wallet's dead. You think I won't come for my green, but I'm not backing down from this scene. Where's my money? You promised me. Where's my money? Quit the chatter and just agree. Where's my money? Your lies ain't funny, it's getting old. Pay me now before I get bold. Where's my money? Dusty excuses won't get you far. Up in the club buying out the bar. Time to face up, you owe a debt. Avoiding me won't let you forget. Ducking calls like a ghost in the night. Running scared, but I'm ready to fight. No more stalling, it's time to pay. Running out on me is not okay. Where's my money? You promised me. Where's my money? Quit the chatter and just agree. Where's my money? Your lies ain't funny, it's getting old. Pay me now before I get bold. Where's my money? Cash rules everything around me. Everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises, don't sue. No dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot. To the loot. Everything around me, everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises, don't sue. Dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot, to the loot.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? I am Techo Droffel. We are Engineer Twin. This is the Men Lie, but women also lie. However, numbers do not lie. Numbers manipulate. We are going to be reviewing the weekly economic indicators to see how our economy is currently keeping up with things. We've been hearing over the past 4 years how amazing that our economy was doing. But then it just seems all of a sudden we're like, well, why aren't the prices of eggs down? Why isn't this price down? Why isn't that price down? The economy is doing so poorly. I'm like, whoa, just wait just a second here. How did things just flip-flop in like a month? I don't know. But we're going to be investigating all those things today, talking about inflation. It looks like inflation is, doing its little thing over there, So we're going to be reviewing our job numbers. We're going to be talking about the initial jobless claims. We're going to be going into the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, and the PPI, the Producer Price Index, to see how that is doing. So a good show lined up. We're going to keep it as best as possible under an hour and a half because we have a lot of things to do. So that is the plan. Let's see. Oh, but first, we're going to address the elephant in the room. Is the government open or not? For those who may not have known, the government was teetering on a potential shutdown for, it would have been today if the government was to shut down at midnight, but did it stay open or did it close? We're going to find that out as well. So that is the plan for today. All right. So let me quick announcements real quick. We're going to be going live tomorrow for DevOps. We're going to be continuing working on Kubernetes. Also, for those who are in the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon, we're going to be having our Scrum Night tomorrow night, where we are going to be completing our past sprint. We're going to be doing a sprint review, a sprint retrospective, and a planning for our next sprint. Where we're going, because we started working on a new project, we're going to be showing the prototype of the new project, very, very basic stuff, but My Tech Barbarian is actually leading the development of the project. So we created a quick prototype just to have a sample idea of what it's going to be, but we're going to be reviewing the stories that were created and all that good stuff, right? So you definitely want to be there if you are not in the, okay, oh crap, hold on, let's get it back. Move something. All right. Let me see what's going on over here. But yeah, if you're not in the Tech Coach Ralph Patreon, you want to join that today so you can participate as part of the Scrum Night tomorrow night. The link is in the Discord, and I will also put it as part in the Patreon as well. All right. Let's see. What else do we have? For today? I think that's about it. I think that is about it that we have for our announcements. Tomorrow I'm going to be starting the show about an hour earlier, around 1:30 p.m. because I have a friend coming to stop by around 3:30, 4 p.m. that I have not seen in years. So I'm going to do the show earlier, finish around 3:30 so that my friend can stop by and we can catch up. All right. Why is this thing doing this? Hold on one second. What is this thing? Let me see. Let's see what's going on over here. Crap. Give me a second here. Some technical difficulties, fixing all of that. It is what it is. All right, there we go. All right, perfect. All right, so we are good to go. All right, let me check the chat before we get into our first topic of the show. The first topic is going to be we're going to address the elephant in the room. Is the government open or not? But let's check the chat real quick. Let's see what we got going on. First and foremost, as always, we have the number one moderator in the room. Says, good morning. Good morning to you as well. Roxy says, Tech Coach Ralph, and y'all, someone needs a timer to keep him on time. It is what it is. All right. And Roxy also says, glossy as ever. I don't know what to tell you. I don't know what to tell you. And we got my guy, Rod Brown, with the nourishing word in the building. What's up, Rod Brown? Hopefully everything is going well with you. Hopefully all is well. Let's see. And let's see anything else. All right, perfect. All right, well, let's get started with the show. All right, so let's talk about is the government open or not? Because it's been talks for the past few weeks about, are they going to get a spending bill passed or continuing resolution? Who wants to the Republicans want to shut down the government? The Democrats never want to shut down the government. Then the Democrats say, "Oh, let's shut down the government." And the Republicans say, "Let's keep it open." Who knows? Me, I am always in for a good old shutdown party, but I don't think it happened this time. I think, and it looks like good old Mr. Senator Chuck Schumer is feeling the heat from his decisions for deciding to help keep the government open. I don't know what they want. Sometimes they want to keep it open, sometimes they don't. It depends. But let's see what happened with that whole ordeal to see where we are at now. Let's see. Let's go over to this one right here, and let's find out if the government is actually open or not. no shutdown party for me, I think. It says shutdown avoided. Shutdown avoided. Let's see what really happened here.
As promised, we're continuing to monitor this breaking news that is now coming out. The Senate has officially passed the funding bill averting a government shutdown. We'll also put up this tweet that we have from Fox's Chad Pergram saying government shutdown averted. Senate aligns with House 54-46. Two Democrat yays, Shaheen and King, who caucuses with Dems. Fetterman is a no, though, on that final passage. We do have a shot there of the Senate floor. Let's see if we can listen in and hear as if they are having any discussions.
Yes, it is.
All right, as you see there, these are some of those moments there on the Senate floor. As again, they have now passed that funding bill, officially averting that government shutdown. It passed 54-46. The number that they needed was 51. I want to pull up this tweet that we have from Fox's Ryan Schmelz as well, saying that Schumer and Fetterman did ultimately vote no on that final passage of the CR. Shaheen, the Democrat, and King, an independent, voted yes. Rand Paul, though, was the lone Republican no. But we knew that was going to happen from those remarks that we heard a bit earlier from Rand Paul saying that he's going to be voting no on that. But the Senate officially passing the 6-month spending bill hours before the government was officially set to shut down. This did overcome some pretty sharp Democratic opposition to the measure, sending it now to President Trump to be signed into law. So we're still getting this live look there at the Senate floor, but also hearing from some of those senators. So as we brought it to you live on air earlier today, my colleague Austin Westfall and I were here as they had that test vote. And U.S. Senator John Fetterman, he was one of those who voted yes during that test vote. So this is his response that he put out on X to explain for some of those who are, of course, in his district or voters for him, wondering why the Democrat decided to vote yes. He says, "My yes vote is not an endorsement of this deeply flawed CR. My yes vote is 100% about refusing to shut our government down. I refuse to punish working families and plunge millions of Americans into chaos. I will never, ever, 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 ever vote to shut down our government." And again, another.
So, just reading the senator's tweet or post on X, right? Says, all right, so fine, you refuse to shut down the government, but you refuse to punish working families and plunge millions of Americans into chaos. All right, so I've been through a few government shutdowns, and guess what? Every time the government has shut down, my life was not affected whatsoever. So I thought when the government shuts down, the essential workers continue to work and the non-essential workers get sent. They don't work, but then they still get paid for not working. It's like you get forced on vacation. So I get maybe my understanding of the government shutdown is a little bit flawed, but whenever it's been shut down, I've never noticed a difference because from what I can see, we are way more dependent on our state and local government than we are on the federal government. So a few parks are closed, national parks are closed and stuff like that. It's not like the FBI is going to stop working because they're essential workers. I don't know. But I think it's just hyperbole and stuff like that. Like, oh my God, millions of Americans into chaos. I've never seen any chaos. I've seen some people get turned away from parks, and that's about it. That's all I've ever really seen when the government shuts down. All right. So anyways, let's keep going.
Ever vote to shut down our government. And again, another live look that we have there of the Senate floor as this business is wrapping up. And we also saw and heard from some of those speakers right as this vote went to that. Let's go ahead and see if we can listen in to some of those remarks that happened just a few minutes ago there on the Senate floor.
S1077, a bill to approve local funds for the District of Columbia for fiscal year 2025 and so forth.
There will now be up to 10 minutes of debate, equally divided. The senator from Maine is recognized.
Thank you.
Madam President, I'm pleased to introduce this bill with Senators Van Hollen, Murray, Alsobrooks, Warner, and Kane. It has been endorsed by President Trump and also by the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee, Tom Cole. This bill would simply fix a mistake in... Madam President, could I have order, please? Thank you, Madam President. Madam President, this bill would simply fix a mistake in the House CR that prevents the District of Columbia from spending its own tax dollars as part of its budget, which Congress routinely approves. Congress approves the authorization of the expenditure revenue D.C. However, the House, unless this bill is passed, D.C. would have to cuts in $1 of budget. The issue is this true inequity. Thank you, Madam President.
Madam President, I want to thank Senator Collins for working on an emergency basis to fix this problem in the House bill. She said it well, so I only want to emphasize 2 points. One, what the House did does not save the federal taxpayer 1 penny, not 1 penny. What it does is cap what the District of Columbia can spend using its own money and based on its own decisions. So taxpayers are not saved a dime by what they did, nor will they gain by our fix. And the people of the District of Columbia should be able to make these decisions. And if they're having to make a budget with $1 billion less, it will mean less police forces, less firefighters, and less money for schools. So I want to thank Mr. Brown from
we all want, as the president wants. The president wants our nation's capital to be the safest, cleanest, most welcoming city. D.C. gets 26 million tourists every year. In 2020, America, and this will be a giant step for that.
Vanity. I rise today to speak, and I'm glad that Mr. President.
Senator from Maryland.
I, too, want to thank Senator Collins, Van Hollen, Warner, and Kane, and I'm glad that we could work together in this bipartisan way to ensure fairness for the residents of Washington, D.C. I rise today to speak for the over 700,000 D.C. residents who do not have representation in this body. They are our friends and our neighbors. Beyond those who work in D.C., Maryland partners with D.C. on resources like emergency services, police, water, to continue.
Senator from Virginia.
Madam President, I'm joining all these colleagues to advocate for this bill. 1/3 of the...
All right, that is enough of that. Watching a bunch of people who sit in Washington for how many years and they don't actually get anything ever done. It's amazing that these people are here for years upon years. You're elected for senators are 6-year terms and House of Representatives are 2-year terms. But however, they always seem to get the work done at the very, very last minute. Procrastinate much? I don't know. Some people say they want term limits and stuff like that. I don't think term limits are going to work because you'll just replace one knucklehead with another knucklehead.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
So I believe in freedom, right? I don't think term limits are really free, right? I don't like term limits because if people want to keep voting for the same people that keep failing them over and over and over and over again, then I say let the people get what they want.
Let's get it.
All right, so I know a lot of people are like, oh, term limits, like it's gonna solve anything. I don't think it's gonna solve anything. It'll just replace one corrupt politician with another corrupt politician and another corrupt politician. So you might as well let the people vote on, look at somebody like Maxine Waters, right? She's been in there before Jesus was born, right? And they keep voting her in over and over and over, meaning that the people of her district actually like her. Yep. So who am I to tell them that, hey, you're not allowed to vote for the person? Because basically what term limits are saying is that you're not allowed to vote for the person that you want to vote for. That's what it says to me. So I'm like, you know what? Give the people what they want. But also let them suffer from their decisions as well, all right? Anyways, let's get into the show. Enough of that nonsense. The government is open for business, and it's just going to be the same old. Nothing getting done until, they pass this for 6 months. So in 5 months and 29 days, we'll be right back here again, passing another continuous resolution, hoping that we don't shut down the government again.
Bruh.
That's how I feel about it, right? Anyways, let me check the chat and then we will jump into the show. Let's see. We have Mitch in the building. What's up, Mitch? How are you doing this beautiful, beautiful morning?
Did we just become best friends? Yep.
Mitch says, it just gets to a point. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. And Mitch says, Roxy, you must have been in that room. Wow. Wowzers. I have refrained myself from commenting on any disputes in the chat. You guys will have to work that out on your own, especially when the debate is happening between moderators. I just want peace. I just want world peace. That's all right. Like Sandra Bullock said in that movie, was it Miss Congeniality? I just want world peace. All right. And Miss Freckles is in the building. Good morning, Miss Freckles. How are you doing today? Miss Freckles says, my life was never affected by government shutdowns. Half the time, if it wasn't the news crying about it, if it wasn't the reporters crying about it, I wouldn't even know about it.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
I hear you, Miss Freckles. I hear you. And good morning to you. And Roxy says, Maxine needs to retire into the sunset. I don't think so. Look, for as long as she's been there, right? And she keeps getting that $176,000 every single year. And then they vote to give themselves a pay increase. If you were to pay for my travel, for my security, and for my housing, and I'm getting paid $176,000 a year, do you think I'm gonna retire? No. I'm gonna be right up in there and say, "Give me my money." I'll be like, I have to play the song. Where is my money? That is the and for as long. Let me see how. You know what? Let's do a quick little pivot real quick, right? Now that you bring that up, Roxy, let's go and take a look at this. How long has Maxine Waters been in Congress? She has been in Congress. So, she is born in 1938, and she's been in Congress since 1991, right? So, 40 years of quote unquote public service or public scamming, some might say, right? So let's say, I don't know, let's just say that the cost of let's say they were getting paid, let me see, they were getting paid $176,000 starting in 1991, right? And we are in, so 1991, 40 years would be 1991 to, let's see, let's do it like this. 2024 minus 1991 is 33 years times 176,123. So that means that in her time in Congress, she has made $5,808,000 as a congresswoman serving the 43rd congressional district. Not to mention everything that she did before that, right? And like Ms. Freckles says, the pay increases, all of that good stuff, and whatever lobbying and stuff like that they get. Look, I'm not hating on anybody getting their money. All right, if the people of the 43rd district of congressional district of California continue to want good old Granny Maxine Waters representing them, then by all means, go for it, right? However, you must suffer the consequences of your decisions, all right? So, Ms. Freckle, let me see. Mitch says, LOL, peace. Yes, we just want peace. We just want peace, all right? And Roxy says, peace. No peace. Nope, we want peace. We want peace on Earth, okay? And Ms. Freckle says they are keeping Granny Maxine employed. No nursing homes for her. Respect. Hey, respect the grind. I respect her. I respect her. Roxy says fossils equals max. That is so mean. That is so mean. That is not nice. We are not age shaming, because guess what? Guess what? At her fossil age, she is still getting to the bag. And which is same year you were born. Yes. How did you know? I just have a great skincare routine. But yes, I was born in 1938 as well. Let's see. Don't forget to increase her pay to account for inflation. Yep. I didn't. I just asked, I said, if the cost of, let's say the cost of living is whatever they're getting paid now, let's say it was the same adjustment for 1991, adjusted that and see what we get, right? Let's see. All right. Roxy says, hey, Mitch, that is a compliment, smart. I took it as a compliment. Thank you for seeing it out as a compliment as well, Roxy.
We the best.
All right, let's get into the show. Enough fun and games. Let's get into the show. Let's go over to here. And the first thing that we have up is the JOLTS report, the job openings. So the job openings and labor turnover, which tells us how many people got hired, how many people got fired, separated stuff, all of that good stuff, right? So the forecast was 7.6 million. The previous was 7.5 million, but we actually hit 7.7 million. But before we get into the numbers, what the heck is the JOLTS report anyways, all right? So let me search for JOLTS in my Urban Dictionary of Economic Data, which I was thinking about this morning. I really, really want to release this. I'm trying to see where's the best and cheapest way to release it. And I don't know, I'm probably going to put it on Google somewhere, but we shall see, right? But let's jump into it. So however, releasing it, I need to be able to hide this behind a Patreon subscription wall, so that you guys cannot just abuse my AI code. All right. So, all right. So what is the JOLTS report, right? So it's presented to us by the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The JOLTS. So by the way, while we're doing this, drop me a job description. Ms. Freckles, drop me a job description in the chat. And I will use that to get how the JOLTS report is affected by that job, a job description or a career title, something like that. All right. It says the JOLTS Opening and Labor Turnover Survey, or JOLTS, is a report that gives us important information about jobs in the United States. It's like a big checkup to see how the job market is doing. This survey is done by the government. JOLTS looks at three main things. Job openings, this is how many jobs are available. It's like counting how many help wanted signs you see. It's funny, whenever I go to like to Home Depot, I see a bunch of help wanted signs, but then I see somebody who is sitting right outside the door asking for a quarter or something like that, which never makes sense to me. Like, why are you sitting right in front of a help wanted sign asking for money? I digress, right? Hires. This is how many people got hired. It's like counting how many people started new jobs last month. Separations, this is how many people left their job. This can happen in three different ways. Quits, how many people who decided to leave their jobs on their own. Layoffs and discharges, people who are let go by their employer because there's not enough work or other reasons. Other separation, people who left their jobs for reasons like retirement. So why is the JOLTS important? Helps us understand the job market better. Here's why it's important. Job openings, if there's a lot of job openings, it means companies are growing and need more workers. This is usually a good sign for the economy. Hires, if many people are getting hired, it means there are a lot of opportunities for work. Separations, if a lot of people are quitting, it might mean they're finding better jobs elsewhere. If there are a lot of layoffs, it means that companies are having trouble. All right. So what it all means, high jobs. So high job openings plus high hires, the job market is strong. Companies are hiring a lot of people. High job openings, low hires, companies want to hire, but maybe they can't find the right people. I know. I've been through that many times. You want to hire, but you can't find somebody to fit you can't find the right fit for the position. Some people will say, just give anybody the job. Like, just if they breathe, right? If they can breathe, then it should be the company's responsibility to teach them every little thing they need to know to be able to do the job. Sorry, but not sorry.
Do not come.
We do not do that. We are in here to make money, so we are looking for people to add value, and that's why hiring can be slow sometimes, right? High quits. People are confident they can find new jobs or better jobs. High layoffs. There might be problems in the economy or in specific industries. In summary, the JOLTS report is like a big job market health check. It tells us how many jobs are available, how many people are getting hired, and how many people are leaving their jobs. This helps everyone understand how the job market and economy are doing. All right, so we're gonna do this. We have in the chat for the customized examples, we have car salesman, we have bank CFO. I like bank CFO. We have FinOps consultant. FinOps consultant. What kind of big name is that? So let's do the bank CFO for the JOLTS, and then for the consumer price index, we will do the FinOps consultant to see. So that we can keep the show moving. I don't want to do too many searches on one and then we end up bogging down the show. There's only an hour left, right? So let's do the bank CFO for the JOLTS report. And then on the next one, we'll do the FinOps consultant. So how does the JOLTS impact a bank CFO? So understanding labor market trends. Suppose the JOLTS data shows that there are increasing job openings in the financial service sector, but a high rate of employee turnover. Many people are quitting. As a CFO, you would see that there is a need for competitive salaries, better benefits, or improved working conditions to retain employees. This information can help inform budget allocation for salaries and benefits. Forecasting staffing needs. If the data indicates that hiring rates are increasing significantly, the CFO must plan for potential growth. This means investing in hiring more staff, which will require additional financial resources. Alternatively, if the data shows a slowdown in hiring, the CFO can adjust financial forecasts and potentially delay any planned expansion projects, pretty much start firing people. Evaluating efficiency. High turnover can signal inefficiencies within the bank, such as poor management practices, lack of training, or a negative work environment. The CFO can address these issues through investments in training programs or enhancements or workplace culture aiming to improve retention. Strategic decision-making. Changes in the JOLTS data can indicate the overall health of the economy. For instance, if the JOLTS openings rise while hires decrease, it might suggest that employers are struggling to find qualified candidates. This can inform the CFO's decision on funding recruitment strategies or even new projects that rely on steady workforce. So, in conclusion, by analyzing the JOLTS data, a bank CFO can make informed financial decisions related to staffing, budgeting, and strategic planning. This data is crucial for ensuring that the bank remains competitive, efficient, and well prepared for future economic changes. All right, so that is the JOLTS report breakdown. Let's jump into the actual report. All right, so let's go over to here. And it tells us that the number of job openings was little changed at 7.7 million in January, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Hires held at 5.4 million and total separations changed little at 5.3 million. Within separations, 3.3 million were quits and layoffs and discharges were 1.6 million changed little. This release includes estimates of the number of and rate of job openings, hires, and separations for the total non-farm sector by industry and by establishment size class. This release also includes 2024 annual estimates for the job openings, hires, and separation. Job openings include all positions that are open on the last business day of the month. Hires and separations include all changes to payroll during the entire month, all right? Let me see. So job openings, the number of job openings was little change at 7.7 million in January, but was down 728,000 over the year. The job openings rate at 4.6% changed little over the month. The number of jobs openings increased in real estate and rental leasing. So it says hires in January, the number and rate of hires were unchanged at 5.4 million and 3.4% respectively. Hires decreased in mining and logging at negative 6,000. Separations, The total separations include quits, layoffs, and discharges, and other separations. Quits are generally voluntary separations initiated by the employee. Therefore, the quits rate can serve as a measure of workers' willingness or ability to leave jobs. I mean, some people leave jobs because they're just unhappy. They're like, oh my goodness, I'm so unhappy because the hours they're giving me, or they ask me to do work. They ask me to work 40 hours a week, and I do not like that.
I hate it here. I want to go home.
So people quit for all types of various reasons. Some make sense, some do not make sense whatsoever, right? But let's continue. It says other separations include separations due to retirement, death, disability, and transfer to other locations in the same firm. So the number of separations were little change at 5.3 million and 3.3% respectively. So okay, all these numbers didn't change in January. All right, so let's go to 2020. So in January, the quits rate increased for establishments with 1 to 9 employees, while the job openings, hires, layoffs, and discharges and total separations rates showed little change. Let me see. So all of these are 2024. So let's read this December 2024 revision, right? The number of job openings for December was revised down by 92,000 to 7.5 million. The number of hires was revised down by 88,000. So they're revising down the number by almost 100,000. Okay. The number of total separations was revised down by 187,000. Jeez, to 5.7 million. Within separations, the number of quits was revised down by 102,000 to 3.1 million. Wait, what? The number was revised. Okay, it was revised down, and the number of layoffs and discharges was revised down by 102,000 to 1.7. I think that's it for the JOLTS. I really think that's it for the JOLTS. I don't see the categories this time that the hires happened across, but I think that's good. I think that is good. Let's go back to full screen. Let's wrap that one up. Let's go back to full screen. And let me see. I think we can continue. With our next one. Excuse me. I think we can continue with our next one for today. All right. Let's go over to Ms. Freckles says, not much of a major change for the bank CFO. Not really. I think the information is good, but I think as a CFO, they're probably always analyzing that information, is look for growth potentials, look for ways to be careful. I don't know. I think a CFO is probably on top of all of this information, but I could be totally be wrong, right? But let me know what you think as well, Ms. Freckles. Let me know what you think, all right? Next up, we have on our list, we have our CPI information, our consumer price index, to see how that's all going. How is inflation looking? The forecast was 0.3. We actually hit 0.2. So we came in under what the expectation was, which is, I always get confused with the CPI. Is that a hit or a miss, right? Because from when I see red, it seems bad, but from what I'm getting at, that is pretty good because inflation might be going down. I don't know. Let's look into it. Let's see what they say. Let's see what we have going on here. All right. So consumer price index. What's up, Peter Investor? How are you doing this morning? Hopefully you are doing well. Peter Investor says, salute to you and the chat. Salute to you as well, Peter Investor. Always a pleasure to have you here. All right. So consumer price index says, consumer price index is like a price report card for everyday things you buy, like groceries, gas, clothes, and even rent. Imagine you make a shopping list of all the stuff you need. The CPI keeps track of how much that list costs over time. Here's how it works. Shopping basket. Think of it as a big basket filled with all the stuff you usually buy. Price check. The government checks the prices of these items regularly. Compare prices. They compare today's price with the prices from the past to see if things are getting more expensive or cheaper or less expensive, right? So if the CPI goes up, it means prices are rising. Your money doesn't stretch as far. If it goes down, things are getting cheaper. Why does it matter? Well, it affects how much money you need to live and how much you can save. It also influences things like wages, pensions, and even the economy. Overall, basically, CPI is a way to measure the cost of living and how it changes over time. So, if the CPI is going down, things are getting cheaper. But if they are getting cheaper, then does that mean that the value and the cost of dollars going down? I don't know. But let's customize our experience. Let's check out the FinOps consultant. Almost there. All right. Okay, it's taking its time on this FinOps consultant. Maybe it doesn't know what a FinOps consultant is. Wow, it is really taking its time on this one. All right, there you go. So let's break down how a FinOps consultant might find the CPI impactful using a simple example. So first and foremost, what the hell is a FinOps consultant? A FinOps consultant is helping a company manage its finances, particularly in its budget and forecasting. The company's in the retail market selling consumer goods, right? So that's the background of the example. Budget planning. The FinOps consultant needs to prepare a budget for the upcoming year. Understanding the CPI can help them anticipate how prices for goods might change. For instance, if the CPI indicates 3% increase in inflation, the consultant might recommend that the company plans for a similar increase in cost for inventory and operational expenses. Pricing strategy. If the CPI is rising, consumers may be less likely to spend on non-essential items. The FinOps consultant can analyze this data and suggest adjustments to pricing strategies. For instance, if the CPI indicates a rising cost, the consultant might advise the company to incrementally raise prices to maintain profit margins without losing customers to competitors. Cost allocation. The CPI helps in understanding how different expense categories like transportation, wages, and materials are likely to increase. The FinOps consultant can use CPI data to help allocate costs more accurately across the project, ensuring proper financial forecasting and budgeting. And lastly, reporting and stakeholder communications. When presenting financial reports to stakeholders, the FinOps consultant can use CPI trends to explain changes in financial performance. For example, if the sales are down but CPI indicates rising costs, then the consultant can articulate that the company is grappling with external market pressures rather than internal inefficiencies. In essence, the consumer price index directly impacts a FinOps consultant by providing critical information on inflation rates that inform budgeting, pricing strategies, and cost management, and communications with stakeholders. If it helps the consultant provide data-driven recommendations, ensuring the company remains competitive and financially healthy in challenging economic conditions. All right. So that was the example for the FinOps consultant. And let's jump into the report. So again, with the Bureau of Labor Statistics, they say that the consumer price index for all urban consumer products increased 0.2% on a seasonally adjusted basis in February after rising 0.5% in January, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Over the last 12 months, all all items index increased 2.8% before seasonal adjustment. Let's see. It says the index for shelter rose 0.3% in February, accounting for nearly half of the monthly all items increase. says the index for shelter. You read that one. Says the shelter increase was partially offset by 4.0% decrease in the index of airline fares and 1% decline in the index for gasoline. Despite the decrease in gasoline index and energy index rose 0.2% over the month as the index for electricity and natural gas increased. The index for food also increased in February, rising 0.2% as the index for food away from home increased 0.4%. The food at home index was unchanged over the month. It says the index for all items less food and energy rose 0.2% in February, following 0.4% increase in January. Index that increased over the month include medical care, used cars and trucks, household furnishings and operations, recreation, apparel, and personal care. The index for airlines, fares, and new vehicles were among the few major indexes that decreased in February, right? Let's see. Anything else we need to look at? So if we look at this chart, for food, it's going down. There was no increase for food at home in February. Actually, no, there was. There was a food at home had a slight increase. Food away from home did not have an increase. Energy had an increase. Gasoline had an increase. Let's see. Energy commodities did not. Actually, gasoline had a decrease. Gasoline had a decrease. Electricity had an increase though. And let's see. Utility pipeline had a decrease over from the last time. It was higher in December of 2024. Let's see. Anything else? The index for food increased 0.2% in February after rising 0.4% in January. We read that already. Let's see. Oh, there you go. Eggs. So let's talk about eggs because I heard the price of eggs are dropping. So the index for meat, poultry, fish, and eggs rose 7.7% over the last 12 months. The index for okay, where's the one for the eggs dropping though? Is it not here? Let's see. Let's do a search for eggs. So they have the price for eggs, or they have they're accounting for eggs inside of the rising part, but they didn't separate eggs from the dropping price of eggs in particular that we've been hearing about. Energy increased 0.2. Used cars and trucks rose. All that good stuff. All right, I think we're good on the JOLTS report. For now, we see how all that went. Feel free to drop me another message in the chat for a different job role because we're going to be looking into the producer price index as well. All right, let's go over to full screen. And let me see. Before I get to the chat, I have to go grab something real quick. I will be right back. Do not go anywhere. Enjoy this real quick, but I will be right back. All right. I'm back. All right, let's check the chat real quick, and then we'll get to our producer price index. Okay, so let's see what we have. Let's see what's going on here. Let's see. So Miss Freckles had said, I think once you secure a position, so I think once you secure a position as a bank CFO, you are set like a congressperson. Keep the bank above water and you have nothing to worry about. That is a good point. That is a good point, Miss Freckles.
Let's get it.
Let's see. Rod Brown says, salute to the chat. Salute to you as well, Rod Brown. Let's see. Peter Investor says, what is going into the makeup of the CPI to track may change based on the administration in power? That is a very interesting point, because if it's consumer prices, it's saying, okay, what are the important things that we consider for the consumers? Like, what are the top things? So let's say in the last administration, they had like eggs and stuff like that. And now they're like, oh, let's take eggs out if that's the highest price. So that's a good point. That is a good point, Peter Investor. You know what? We should see if we can find a list of the things that are being tracked in the CPI report. Let me see. They don't have much. They don't have a table here. Actually, no, they do have a table. See, but in their table, it's just like very general titles. But then within those titles, like for food, what if they start tracking? What if they start tracking a different type of food? I don't know. But that's a very good point. That is a very good point. Let's see. Peter Investor says, the most important is the relationship between the bond market and the housing market. And Mr. says, brown eggs went from $9.99 to $7.99. I'm waiting for spring to go back to the farmer's market. Is that for the dozen? Was that on the dozen? So are you saying like it was almost $1 per egg? I would not be eating eggs if that was the case, right? And you see, there's always a simple solution, right? If the price of something is going up egregiously, then you just stop eating it, right? That's how I see it. Ms. Freckles says, Peter Investor is extremely knowledgeable. He is. Thank you for always sharing it too. And Ms. Freckles says, yes, for a dozen eggs, it was $9.99.
Bruh.
But it just went down to $7.99, so salute to that. All right, let's jump over into our producer price index. All right, so let's go here and go here, producer price index. So like we saw with the consumer price index, we also have a producer price index. And for me, I think the producer price index affects the consumer price index because we'll see a rise in or a drop in producer price index first. And then we're going to see the CPI follow later on, because if it costs more to produce, then it only makes sense it's going to cost more for the consumer as well, right? Because the costs are going to get passed on, right? But the producer price index is similar to the consumer price index, but instead of tracking the price of things people buy, it tracks the price that businesses pay to make those things. Here's how it works. Production costs. Imagine a factory making sneakers. They need material like rubber, fabric, and labor. The PPI tracks the prices of these materials and services. Price check. Just like the CPI, the government checks the prices of these materials and services regularly. Compare prices. They compare today's prices with prices from the past to see if costs for businesses are going up or down. If the PPI is going up, it means costs for businesses to produce goods and services are rising. If it goes down, it means those costs are decreasing. Why does it matter? When production cost goes up, businesses might raise their prices to cover these costs, which can eventually lead to higher prices for consumers. So PPI can be an early indicator of inflation, showing how the prices of raw materials and productions might affect the prices we pay in stores later on. All right. So I am going to search for another role. I'm going to search for a what is that? What do I call it? Energy pipeline construction worker. Because you guys heard about the pipeline that they want to open or unblock, that's going to transfer energy from I think somewhere in Pennsylvania to somewhere in New York to help them get lower energy costs. Energy pipeline construction. All right, let's do that. So how does the producer price index affect a energy pipeline construction worker, right? So material costs. Suppose the PPI indicates that the price of steel, you guys heard about the price of steel, right? The price of steel, a key material for pipelines, has increased significantly. If the prices are rising, the construction company might have to pay more for the steel needed for the pipeline. Budget adjustments. Because these rising costs, the construction company may have to adjust its budget, which could lead to fewer resources allocated to the project. This could mean a slower pace of work or even project delays. Wage impact. If the company is spending more on materials due to PPI increase, they may have less money available to pay workers. This could stall wage increases or even lead to layoffs if the company needs to needs to cut costs. And job stability. If the energy costs are rising due to material price increase reflected in the PPI, it might affect how many projects are being commissioned. Fewer projects could mean less job security for construction workers in the energy industry, right? So here's my thought, right? I think if you bring down energy costs, you will bring down energy costs, you will bring down PPI, CPI, all that good stuff, because the cost of energy is a big driving force towards I think that one of the most expensive things that I pay here is the energy bill, right? Because not only do I have a bunch of computers running and lights and stuff like that streaming just about every day, but energy is expensive, especially when it gets as hot as it is down here in South Florida during the summer. The AC is on just about 24/7. All right. Let's see. So I think that the push for more pipelines and drilling and stuff like that is going to help bring prices low. All right. But let's jump into this report. And we're not going to spend too much time on it because at the end of the day, it is exactly where it's at. It didn't change much, right? So PPI index news release summary. All right, so the producer price index for final demand was unchanged in February, seasonally adjusted to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Final demand prices rose 0.6% in January and 0.5% in December on an adjusted basis. The index for final demand advanced 3.2% for the 12 months ended in February. In February, a 0.3% increase in prices for final demand goods offset a 0.2% decline in the index for final demand services. Says the index for final demand, less foods, energy, and trade services moved up 0.2% in February after rising 0.3% in January. So it slowed down also slightly, but it did slow down a little bit. For the 12 months ended in February, Prices for final demand, less food, energy, and trade services advanced 3.3%. All right. Let's see. Final demand good. The index for final demand good increased 0.3% in February, the fifth consecutive rise, leading the February advanced prices for final demand foods jumped 1.7%. The index for final demand goods, less food and energy, moved up 0.4%. In contrast, prices for final demand energy fell 1.2%. Let's see. Product detail, 2/3 of February increase in index for final demand good is attributable to price for chicken eggs. What? Which jumped 53.6%. How are your prices going down if chicken eggs jumped that high? The index for pork, maybe you should try some pork eggs, right? The index is for pork, fresh and dry vegetables, electric power and tobacco products, and carbon steel scrap also moved higher. Conversely, prices for gasoline declined 4.7%. The index for processed young chickens and for primary basic organic chemicals also decreased. Let's see, anything else in here we need to check out? I think we're good on that, but let's watch a quick little video about the whole PPI, CPI stuff, right? But I think we've read enough about that. It didn't change much to spend much time on it. Let's go over to here. Let's go there, and we're gonna go we're gonna watch the CPI first, and then we're gonna check out the PPI, right? Let's go to here.
Welcome back to Squawk. We are just seconds away now from February CPI. Rick Santelli standing by at the CME in Chicago. Rick, the numbers.
Yes, boy, this is a biggie. This is our February read. Consumer Price Index expected up 0.3, comes in a tenth light, up 0.2%. And in the rearview mirror, at least now, not revised. And up 0.5%, by the way, was a 2-year high we're reversing from. Up 0.2 equals where we were in October. To find a lower number, you're back to July of last year. Strip out the important food and energy, it remains up 0.2 on core. That's following up 0.4, which was the highest level since Feb of 23. 0.2, well, we equaled Dece of last year. Find a lower number, you're in June of last year. Year over year, a headline number, 2.9 expected, 2.8 is what we get. Last look was 3%. 2.8 to find a lower number. You're in November of last year when it was 2.7. And do remember that cycle at the end of last year, we actually saw 2.4 on the September read, just to put a face on the fact that we have been lower. And if you look at X food and energy or core year over year, 3.1. 3.2 was what we were expecting. 3.3 in the rearview mirror. 3.3 in the rearview mirror was the highest since May of last year. 3.1, to find a smaller number, you have to really go into the Wayback Machine. You're going to April of 21 when it was 3%. Now, I know many don't look at the following, but if you look at the actual index of CPI, that goes back to 1912, the last time, and guess what? An all-time high going back to 1913. If you look at core, that was started in 1957. It comes in at 325.47, and guess what? Another new all-time forever high. Go use that inflation tool on the Bureau of Labor Statistics and the website, and what you'll find is inflation's running over 20% on a compounded basis going back to pre-COVID. Interest rates initially moved lower as they looked at the month-over-month numbers. You know that parlor game, you analyze these numbers, but in the end, they're still sticky. And just to point out something, our last look, still unrevised, these inflation numbers were hot last time, unlike today where they're a bit cooler. And what happened? We settled on February 12th, the last time January CPI was out, at 463 in a 10-year. It was the high water mark. Hot inflation, all we've done since is go lower. And the reason I point that out is there's a lot of moving parts pushing yields around these days. Andrew, back to you.
So that was the CPI. Let's take a look at the PPI.
So I think we got some things that are working for us this morning. Let's go to Kevin Hanks at the CBO, host of Fast Market. Tell me about the data this morning, Kev. Seems like yesterday's CPI went decently well in terms of the number. It seems like PPI also providing maybe a little bit of inflation relief.
Exactly right, Oliver. You know, PPI, we'll all admit in the beginning, is not the same effect on the markets that CPI does. But that said, these numbers were extremely positive for the fight against inflation. Here they are, Oliver. PPI headline month over month, unchanged, down from 0.4 to unchanged. That's 0.3 lower than expected. Year over year, 3.5 to 3.2%. That's 0.3 in a month. Core PPI month over month from 0.3 to negative 0.1%. So think about that. Actually negative prices at the producer price level. Core PPE year over year, 3.6 to 3.4%. Ex-food and energy trade services up 0.2, and ex-food and energy trade services year over year from 3.4 to 3.3%. Oliver, here's the details, and it's something we've been pounding the table on now for a month and a half. Final demand goods were up 0.3, final demand services down 0.2. Chicken eggs, Oliver, up 53% during the month. That's 2/3 of the gain in final demand goods. What was the other side? Gasoline prices, like we've been talking about. Look at crude oil futures. Gasoline prices down 4.7% in the last month. So that offsets eggs in this number. Final demand services, again, down 0.2. Final demand trade services down 1%, Oliver. So solid numbers across the board if you're thinking about inflation. And here's the thing no one's talking about. I'm surprised that March rate cut is not on the table, or at least bumping up. There's zero chance right now in the CME futures. I'm frankly surprised at that. Now, let's keep going.
Well, if you want
jobless
that,
claims.
Root for stocks to keep getting hit. You want that cut in March, then keep rooting for stocks to go down, basically. That's a pretty good path to getting it.
Well, Jerome Powell has never looked at stocks, but the data is telling him that he has a window, in my opinion. It's the data, it's inflation that's coming down. If you want to continue with a soft landing, I think the rates have to come sooner, not later. Right now, it looks like it's built in for June. But I check the Fed Watch data every day. There's no movement in March. So it looks like from that perspective, it's off the table. But I'm surprised it is, Oliver, frankly, based on these numbers. And remember, we're in the Fed quiet period. So there's no real comment that's going to be made. Let's also go with this, Oliver. Jobless claims from 221,000 to 220,000. Another week, another strong first-time filers for unemployment insurance, Oliver.
You know, the potential for a March cut's a fun thing to think about, roll over in your mind a little bit. I mean, if you're looking at 200,000 still roughly jobless claims, low 200s, it seems like even after the last couple of weeks of there being a lot of chatter about slowdown, et cetera, that jobs from both the employment report and from our jobless claims, I mean, JOLTS too, all the employment data is pretty solid.
Pretty solid is right. I mean, right. Obviously, what we've seen this week is several things, right? The tariff chatter is getting louder and louder. I think that's why you're seeing stocks hesitant to start the day, even though they're starting to inch back towards unchanged now. It's getting louder and louder. Usually what that means when it gets really loud is they're about to make a deal, and the rhetoric keeps getting louder and louder before they make a deal. Either that or the entire trade conversation breaks down, which I just don't think is going to happen. The other thing is, when you're looking at the overall data and economy and stock market, if you want to continue the soft landing in this economy, you have to adjust rates as inflation is coming down. And clearly, in these two data points, CPI and PPI, inflation is coming down, Oliver. And then, like I said, and then you're getting comments from CEOs like Ed Bastian talking about, remember, he's talking about them being transitory. They're keeping their full year guidance in for like Delta Airlines and some other firms, but they are talking about a little slow period right now.
Okay. Kev, later on today, we're going to get bonds on the long end auction. How do you think that goes, and how do you think the data should relate to bonds? Because we have had a two-way trade going. Treasuries have had a little bit of a battle here around the 4.2. I mean, it seems like the message from bonds is that these data are good enough to provide some relief to some of that Treasury buying that was associated with both stock selling and concerns about the economy.
Yeah, you made a point right at the beginning of the show where some of the bond buying that was the fear of slowdowns, and it seems to be dissipating. It looks like some of the bonds got overbought. So now on favorable economic data or lower inflation, you would think yields would be going down, but they're actually firming up here. Why? Because the U.S. economy is coming out of this looking in a better place, I think, than a lot of people are alluding to. Remember, you're getting a lot of sentiment data that is skewing political. How important is consumer sentiment tomorrow? I don't know. Can we trust this number if it skews political? I don't know, but it's going to be a pretty important number that the market will probably react to. Remember, that number went up to a 4.2% inflation. With these numbers, someone's got it really wrong, Oliver.
Yeah, all right. Appreciate the thoughts, Kev. Appreciate the analysis. Noted. Dove, Kevin Hanks, looking for a March rate cut. Okay.
Well, that seemed pretty positive. He did mention that there was consumer sentiment. So let me adjust the filter real quick to see, do we have consumer sentiment? Because, oh yeah, we should have the University of Michigan consumer sentiment. It is under 2 filters. Let's take a look at that real quick. Lo and behold, consumer sentiment right here. It has dropped dramatically. My goodness. Wow, that's a big drop. We'll review that after the initial jobless claims. Let's go. Let me check the chat real quick, and then we'll get into the initial jobless claims, and then we'll do consumer sentiment, and then we will wrap it up. Let me see. Let's see. We're talking about eggs. We are talking about eggs. Roxy says that Roxy pays $3 per dozen eggs. That's a pretty good price. I shop around for my eggs. I'll get the in between the best and the best affordable, and I'll find a middle ground, right? I used to like the extra bright yolk golden eggs. They had their I used to like those, but then the prices went crazy. I was like, oh, I don't like them anymore. Look, the price you pay for something affects the taste, right? Because I'm like, if it costs too much, it just doesn't taste good anymore to me. That's how I see it. Let's see. Roxy, Miss Freckles says, I miss $3 eggs, but that is the price of white eggs here, and I don't eat anything white. Wow. Well, we all have our preferences. Let's see. And Roxy says, that's the price of brown homegrown. What? Roxy, you got chickens running around in your backyard? You have chickens running around in your backyard. Let's see. Ms. Freckles says, that's beautiful. That's why I'm waiting for the farmer's market to get my brown eggs at that price. Why don't you guys get some chickens? Ms. Freckles, why don't you get some chickens running around your backyard, and you can get like eggs every single day. Peter Investor says, not all eggs are created equal. Pasture raised, free range, cage free, organic, chicken eggs versus duck eggs, local versus regional. That is too much for me. I just go based off the price. I'm like, all right, I'll figure it out from the price, right? I will compensate in other ways. Mr. Cook says 1,000% correct, Peter Investor. It's a whole chemistry problem to pick the right eggs. Not for me. I go with the most affordable pricing. And Mr. Chris says, never eating pork. Well, we all have our preferences. And Mr. Chris says, TCR is ready to bounce. What? Take it back, Ms. Freckles. Take it back. Although you're right, take it back, all right? We have my guy, Me Mysify, in the building. Says good morning to me, to Roxy, to Mitch, to Miss Freckles, and to the chat. How are you doing, Me Mysify? Hopefully all is well with you. Let's see. Says Mitch says, you choking on sunflower seeds. I do not eat sunflower seeds, all right? I am not a sunflower seed eater, okay? Peter Investor says Wall Street is boiled down to projected forecasts and analysts guessing based on two main types of data. One, past historical data, and two, real data, the present. I always wonder, like, how do they get those projections? Like, so we're gonna see that the University of Michigan, they estimated that it was gonna be at 64. They're actually down to 54.2. So we'll see about that. But I just always wonder. Says that show you don't watch his channel. Let's see. I don't know what they're. I'm getting lost what they're talking about here. Let's see. It says, we got my guy Junior in the building. What's up, Junior? How are you doing? Hopefully all is well with you. Let's see. And Peter Investor says there is a transfer of money from stock market volatility towards the bond market, which is the bigger one. Let's see. What else? It says, that's my goal. I grew up getting eggs from the backyard as a little girl. I wish I had the patience for it. No, actually, I don't. I don't wish I had the patience for it. I can't do it. I cannot do it. Me getting my own eggs, it's like me getting my own milk. I don't drink milk anyways, but it's like me getting my own milk. Nope, not happening. I'm from South Florida, right? Let's see. And Roxy says, ain't got no time for farm animals. I'm with you. I'm with you, Roxy. I don't have no time for farm animals. If my wife wants to get some, no, I don't want no chickens, because they're gonna start, they're gonna start cooing, and I don't want it. And if you guys remember the story what happened to those two birds, it's not a good idea for me to get more animals over here. And with the raccoons and those road cats, nope. Let's see. Mitch says, is a lion cheetah a farm animal? It depends. It depends on what type of farm you have, right? Let's see. Junior says, farm animals aren't so bad. It's not that they're bad. It's not that they're bad, Junior. It's the maintenance. It's like dealing with these animals, and now if some other animal comes and eats them, you got to build a chicken coop. It's not worth it. It is not worth it. Nope. Let's see. It says, Rocky says, no, a panther is, let's see. And Emma says that Roxy is just yapping like Ralph. Well, at least I'm in good company now. Right? Okay. Let's continue on with our. We'll just throw in these two real quick together. The initial jobless claims. So let's go over here. So weekly initial jobless claims, right? So it's from the Department of Labor. It shows the number of people who have recently lost their jobs and applied for unemployment benefits for the very first time. It's released every Thursday and gives a snapshot of how the job market is doing in the United States. So here's a simple breakdown. Initial jobless claims means people who are applying for the unemployment benefits for the first time in a recent week. It doesn't include people who are already receiving benefits from earlier weeks. Why is it important? If the number of claims is high, it usually means more people are losing their jobs, which could be a sign that the economy is struggling or slowing down. If the number is low, it means fewer people are losing jobs, which often points to a healthier job market. How it's used? The report helps businesses, governments, and even regular people understand if the job market is getting better or worse. For example, if jobless claims suddenly spike, it could mean companies are laying off more workers, and might be a warning of a possible recession. If the claims are dropping, it may suggest that companies are hiring or keeping employees, which is a good sign for the economy. In short, the initial jobless claims a quick weekly update that tells how stable the job market is and gives us a hint about what might be happening in the economy. All right, so let's take a quick look at that. We haven't looked at that in a while. Let me zoom in. So, what do we have here? All right, so Week ending March 8th, advanced figures for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 220,000, a decrease of 2,000 from the previous week's revised levels. The previous week's level was revised up by 1,000 from 221 to 222. The 4-week moving average is 226,000, an increase of 1,500 from the previous week's revised average. The previous week's revised average was revised up by 250 from 224,250 to 224,500. Let's see. The advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2% for the week ending on March 1st. It's always between 1.1 and 1.3, so not that big of a deal. Let's see. We are going to go down to initial claims for UI benefits filed by former federal civilian employees totaled 1,580 in the week ending March 1st, a decrease of 54 from the prior week. 364 initial claims filed by newly discharged veterans, an increase of 52 from the preceding week. There were 8,215 continued weeks claimed filed by former federal civilian employees the week ending on February 22nd, an increase of 803 from the previous week. Highest insured unemployment rates in the week ending February 22nd were Rhode Island. Rhode Island? Did Rhode Island overtake New Jersey? So Rhode Island's insured unemployment rate was 3.4%. Mitch, you should be highly, highly upset that Rhode Island overtook your great state of New Jersey. New Jersey follows at 2.9, Massachusetts 2.6, Minnesota 2.6, California, Illinois, Montana, Washington at 2.4, Connecticut and New York at 2.1. And it says the largest increases in initial claims for the week ending March 1st were New York at plus 15,000. So New York had 15,000 initial claims. Texas follows at 1,774. Kentucky 891. Arkansas 603. New Hampshire 573. The largest decrease in Massachusetts with almost 4,000. Rhode Island is negative 1,984. Michigan negative 1,933. Illinois negative 1,051. And Iowa negative 982. All right. And let's just jump straight into the University of Michigan before we wrap it up. So shout out to all the people in Michigan out there. Let me increase this. So University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. The University of Michigan's Consumer Sentiment Index is a survey that asks people how they feel about the economy. Always about feelings. They gather information. See, and that's the thing about how do you feel about the economy. Most people don't really understand the economy to have a feeling about it. They just feel like, was I able to go to the movies yesterday? Was I not? Was I able to afford popcorn? Was I not? Was I able to get my golden eggs or not? So, feelings, they play some type of role, but I don't think we should rely on the feelings. They shouldn't be that, I don't know. I think education is, I think a lot of the feelings end up like how the media, I think the media tells you how to feel at the end of the day, right? It says, it gathers information about what people think about their current financial situation, how they feel about spending money, and what they expect for the future. The survey results are combined into an index, which is like a score that shows whether people feel positive, negative, or neutral about the economy. This index is important because it helps us understand how confident people are about spending money. When people feel good about the economy and their own financial situation, they are more likely to buy things like clothes, gadgets, and cars, which help businesses grow and create jobs. If the index shows that people are worried, they might spend less, which can slow down the economy. Economists and government officials use this information to make decisions about things like interest rates, economic policies, helping them support a healthy economy. All right. So, hey Ralph. Yes. All right. Let's see if it's. I don't think it's gonna work. All right. Let's go to University of Michigan. apparently linking to University of Michigan never works, right? University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. Let's go over here. Of course not. Let's go back to. This never fails, right? Let's go. All right, let's go here. Let me see. Home. This was February results. Let's see. Where are our results? Home. Results for January 2025. How come we don't have... This seems outdated. Hold on. Let's see. So March 14, March prelim. I should be getting my March preliminary results. I don't know. I don't know about University of Michigan. They're pretty flaky. Let's see. Reports, tables, charts, data. Survey information. 2025 release dates. Oh, we got that already. I don't know, University of Michigan. You're not helping me out here. All right, there you go. March 2025. Let's go to, all right, so there you go. So March, so wait a second here. So here, it tells us that let's see if this is accurate. So it tells us that the Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index expectations were 54.2. The consumer sentiment for March was 57.9. So if you look over here, index of consumer sentiment, current economic conditions, and index of consumer expectations. Okay, so let's read that, all right? It says, so this was survey of consumers director Joanne Sue. I'm going to guess that the H is silent. This consumer sentiment slid 11% this month, with declines seen consistently across all groups by age, education, income, wealth, political affiliation, and geographic regions. Sentiment has now fallen for 3 consecutive months and is currently down 22%. From December 2024, while current economic conditions were little changed, expectations for the future deteriorated across multiple facets of the economy, including personal finances, labor market, inflation, business conditions, and stock markets. Many consumers cited high levels of uncertainty around policy and other economic factors. Frequent gyrations, what the? That sounds mildly inappropriate for a financial consumer sentiment report. Frequent gyrations? Let me know. Do you guys think that the word gyrations is a appropriate word for a economic or a consumer sentiment report? All right, let me make sure. What does gyration? What is? All right, I got it. Maybe it's me. Maybe I have a bad mind. Right? Gyration, a rapid movement in a circular or spiral, a whirling motion. You see? Nope. You know what? Shame on you, Director Joanne Sue. Frequent gyrate. That is not the appropriate word to use in this situation. I'm just saying, right? But frequent gyrations, respectfully, in economic policies make it very difficult for consumers to plan for the future. Regardless of one's policy preference, consumers from all 3 political affiliations are in agreement that the outlook has weakened since February. Despite their greater confidence following the election, Republicans posted a sizable 10% decline in their expectations index in March. For independents and Democrats, the expectation index declined at a steeper 12 and 24% respectively. So Republicans are down 10%, and independents down 12%, and Democrats down 20%. That's it. That's it, Democrats. That's it. Well, you know what? If you're only down 24% Democrats, then I have to applaud you. And it says year ahead inflation expectations jumped from 4.3% to 4.9%. Year ahead inflation. So see, based on the CPI and the PPI, they're expecting inflation to come down, but people's consumer sentiment are expecting inflation to go up. So there's a mismatch, and that's what the guy was talking about during the PPI, right? So we're gonna see how that plays out in the coming months. I mean, it is a new administration. You have to get used to it and stuff like that. So that's curious to see, right? All right. So imagine, right? What if the war in Ukraine and Russia actually stops? The Middle East war stops. What if people get their act together around all these tariffs and stuff like that? And what if more jobs are being available to American citizens and legal residents? I don't know. Like, I want to see as things progress, and if all the things that said that they would be done actually happen.
Simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
If those things actually happen, what is going to be the sentiment for consumers in that regard? So I'm just curious about that. We shall see. If it happens, we'll see how people respond in the coming months. All right. It says year ahead expected to jump 4.3%, the highest reading since November 2022, and marking 3 consecutive months of unusually large increases at 0.5% points or more. This month's rise was seen across all 3 political affiliations. Long-run inflation expectations surged from 3.5% in February to 3.9% in March. This is the largest month-over-month increase since the 1993 stemming from a sizable rise among independents and followed an already large increase in February, right? So that is everything. Let's go back to full screen. Let's check the chat, and then we're going to wrap it up for today. And we can get on with our Saturday, get on with our lives, all right? Oh, and we have to check the results of the poll as well, right? So let me do the poll first. Let me close the poll. The poll is now closed. And were you afraid of government shutdown? 9% of the people said yes. 81% said absolutely not. They said we were getting ready for our government shutdown party the same way that I always have a government shutdown party every single time that the government shuts down. And 9% said there was a shutdown looming. We did not even know.
Bruh. Congratulations. You played yourself.
I mean, don't threaten me with a shutdown. Like, just don't threaten me. Just don't threaten me, okay? Because I will go for it. I will go for it, okay? Let's see. All right, let's check the chat and then we'll get out of here. Let's see what we got. Where are we? Okay, so let's see. So Roxy said about the keeping these farm animals in her backyard. She says, agreed, but they take a lot of work up. That's why I said, and they make a lot of noise. Those little critters are annoying. I'm gonna say they're annoying, right? Let's see. Ms. Echo says, facts, hard work too. Not a job for the weak. Consider me weak, Ms. Freckles. I will fight people all day, all night. But if you want me to take care of some rogue random animals just for a couple of eggs, sorry, but not sorry.
Do not come.
Let's see. Memizify. Just be careful. you don't want to get in the middle of a Roxy. I'm just gonna let you know, Memizify. You don't want to get in the middle of a Roxy and Mitch fight. It will not end well for you. Okay, just letting you know. Junior says to Ms. Freckles, absolutely true. The payoff is well worth it though, especially when wanting independence and knowing exactly what you are eating. You make good points. But still. Let's see. Roxy says, Mitch needs a hug. I shall send you a hug, me, Elmo. Oh, that is so sweet, Roxy. Aww. Let's see. And Mitch says to the proverbial Rhode Island, to hate that place. What, Mitch? How could you say such a thing?
How dare you?
That is not nice. That is not nice. And Miss Freckles says, and Miss Freckles speaks for herself. Miss Freckles speaks for herself when she says this, right? Says, dang, so many losers on the coast. What? You know what, Miss Freckles, I have a question for you, because now I am deeply offended by this. Miss Freckles, I have a question for you. The question is,
Yeah, I have a lot of questions. Number one, how dare you?
how dare you? Let's see. What else we got? It says, feelings can sit in the back seat. Oh, you don't care about the feelings, Miss Freckles. Oh, that's or in the trunk. Oh my goodness, you're sticking the feelings in the trunk. That can be considered kidnapping feelings. All right, you can't be kidnapping feelings like that. Me Massive says, I'm gonna do a diss record on you. Wow. Whoa. This is getting serious. But I have decided to sit back from all confrontations and just eat my popcorn like Michael Jackson did in that in the meme. I don't know. It looks like he's dressed like from Thriller, but I'm just gonna sit back and watch the world burn with my popcorn. I actually saw a really cool short on YouTube yesterday, where they made sausage flavored popcorn. I'm gonna try it. I'm curious to know how that's gonna taste. I'm gonna try it to see how it goes. But I'm gonna sit back and chill, not get involved. And Roxy says, "Hey, Ralph. Hey, Roxy. How are you doing? Hopefully everything is well with you." Let's see. Let me see. Mitch says that he encourages me, Mysify, to do the diss track, but it says I will not do the diss track because it will be a lose-lose for him. Even when he wins, he ultimately loses. That's a good point. That is a good point. Let's see. I agree with you, Mitch. I don't know what Joanne was talking about with these gyrations in the, financial gyrations. Financial. Have you no decency, man? Financial gyrations. How many people gyrate for finances, right? Come on, we cannot be using gyrations when it comes to the future of the economy, because we have seen way too many financial gyrations. All right, I'm just saying. Miss Freckles says no gyrations in the chat. Thank you, Miss Freckles. Thank you. We have a voice of reason here. No gyrations in the chat.
Let's get it.
It says sounds like my granny saying. I'm not sure what exactly sounds like your granny saying, but it is what it is. But I must have said something great though, if your granny would say that. And we got Magnetar in the building. What's up, Magnetar? Says Roxy, what? We're still open. Perhaps Google wanted them to close. Nobody cares, Magnetar. Nobody cares if you. I mean, actually, I do care, because you guys are open and you guys are going to. The essential workers still got to report to work, so I'm happy for you guys. But don't threaten us with, like, whenever the Congress threatens us with a shutdown, I'd be like, bring it. We right here. We not going anywhere. Let's see. Rox says agreed. I forgot what I said, but whatever it was, it must have been good if Roxy's agreeing. Let's see. It says, we knew they would pass the budget at the last minute. They want to look like heroes. So who was the hero, Magnetar? Who was it? Was it Chuck Schumer? Was it Fetterman? Was it the other two, Sheehy or something like that? The other two that voted for it? Who are the heroes? Let's say that if you ignore it, it goes away. There have been many people who have said that, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and it got worse and worse and worse. So You probably should get that checked out. Do not ignore it. It might be catastrophic, right? So you probably want to get that checked out, all right? It says, did I forget with all, see, now you made it all better. See, now you can say whatever it is that you want. Miss Freckles, did you forget with, yes, you did forget with all due respect, but now that you remembered, it is all forgiven. It is all love, all right?
I appreciate you.
And Rock says, Coach sitting on the porch. I am sitting on my porch having a grand old time. Let's see. It's all jokes. Of course it's all jokes with me, Masify. I just know I do not get in the middle of anything anymore forever. And Rocky says my 401k is gyrating too much. What? That makes sense. See, but I'm telling you guys, stop looking at this. See, and this is pure investor. Dollar cost averaging or what? Dollar cost averaging or what? When it's up, you put in. When it's down, you put in, and you go from there. I forget to check my numbers. I'm like, oh yeah, let me go check. Okay, it's down, whatever. Oh, it's up, whatever. I do like whatever. Let's keep running it up, right? Put money in every single week, and we keep going that way. I'm not worried about it, right? Mr. Circle says too many twerkers on the planet. They have to connect with the younger generations with the gyrations. That might be the word of the week, right? The word for next week is gyrations. Financial gyrations, that is. It says, fight Magnetar versus Ralph. I do not fight with anybody. Because guess what? You know what? You want to know why I don't fight with anybody? Number one, if it's not a competition that I'm signed up for, then I'm not going to fight with anybody. Number two, because quite frankly, I just don't care.
Congratulations. You played yourself.
Since I've been saying from the get-go, the problem is them. They are the problem. Let's see. And he says, none of them are the hero. None of them are the hero. It is what it is. And we have, all right, we're about to wrap it up. We have, Mr. Rico says, peace is everything. I'm just a cool cat chilling on my porch. And we got my guy, Darcel, in the building. Darcel, how have you been? Where have you been? Hopefully all is well with you, Darcel. All right, that is it for today. We're going to wrap it up. Do me a favor, if you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notifications so you know every time we go live and drop new content. We're going to be going live tomorrow a little bit early, about an hour or so earlier. We're going to be working on DevOps, Kubernetes, more Kubernetes, all that good stuff. About 1:30ish, we're going to get started, all of that. All right. Anything else? Oh yeah. Also tomorrow night, we have Scrum Night in the TechCoach Patreon. We're going to be showing the prototype of the application that we're building, very, very preliminary, of the interview prep app that uses AI. So if you're not signed up for the TechCoach Patreon, techcoach.dev, you can get one-on-one coaching, you can get access to exclusive content, you get access to the Team TechCoach Discord, all of that good stuff, all right? But yeah, that's about it. That is about it for the day. Let's see. Ms. Recco says, thank you for your time. Enjoy friend time. Thank you. I will do so. And Junior says, another great show. Thank you so much, Junior. So, as I always say, so happy to see you again. And keep on keeping on. You guys keep working hard. And with that being said, I am going to get out of here. You guys have an amazing day. Hold on. All right, so right here. Boom. You guys have an amazing rest of your day. TechCoach Ralph, we are out.
Where is my money? Tell me where. You wanna chit chat, but I don't care. Can't be playing with my cash, no way. This disrespect can't be the play. Why you playing games with my cash? everything around me. Everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises, don't sue. No dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot. See you styling in your new threads. Spending freely while my wallet's dead. You think I won't come for my green, but I'm not backing down from this scene. Where's my money? You promised me. Where's my money? Quit the chatter and just agree. Where's my money? Your lies ain't funny, it's getting old. Pay me now before I get bold. Where's my money? Dusty excuses won't get you far. Up in the club, buying out the bar. Time to face up, you owe a debt. Avoiding me won't let you forget. Ducking calls like a ghost in the night. Running scared, but I'm ready to fight. No more stalling, it's time to pay. Running out on me is not okay. Where's my money? You promised me. Where's my money? Quit the chatter and just agree. Where's my money? Your lies ain't funny, it's getting old. Pay me now before I get bold. Where's my money? Cash rules everything around me. Everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises, don't sue. No dusty promises. Gotta get straight to the loot. To the loot. Everything around me, everything. Pay me what you owe, don't flee. Pay me. Dusty promises, don't sue. Dusty promises. Gotta